Peace and blessings. It's Tuesday, May the 28th, the year 2019. And I've got a short email via Jpay.com from Christopher Moltz, Moltz. Matter of fact, we've created a web page. I'm just going to double check it right here, chrismoltz.com. Yep, that's right. If you go to Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Moltz, MOLTZ.com, you can bring up his webpage, and we've got a Dropbox. You can scroll up and see his mailing address, and he is serving life without parole. He's been in prison for 21 years, and I think he started when he was 19 years old. He's 41 years old, and he will die in prison. He has no chance of parole, and he did not murder anybody. He did not instruct anyone to murder anybody. He was not present when someone was murdered, and if I was on the jury, I'm not sure I could even send him to prison for one day, much less the rest of his life. There's a Johnny Cash song, says, I turned 21 in prison serving life without parole. Well, Chris Moltz, I believe, was 19 or 20 when he went to prison, and he's serving life without parole, not for any crime that he committed, but for some words that came out of his mouth. Even Chris Moltz says he doesn't claim to be innocent. He says, basically, some kids were looking for some drugs to steal. And Chris Moltz says, I believe they're over at Michael Jackson's house. I think Michael Jackson was the man who was murdered that night, just happens to have the same name as the pop star. So the group of kids went over to Michael Jackson's house to steal the drugs, and during the course of the robbery, Michael Jackson was murdered. Now, the people who did the robbery, the people who decided to pull a gun on Michael Jackson, the people who killed Michael Jackson, of course, they need to be punished for the crime that they committed. But Chris Moltz, what's his role in this? He was an accessory before the fact. He didn't know they were going to pull a gun on somebody. He certainly didn't tell them to. And I would say he had no direct involvement in any murder or robbery, except he just said, I believe Michael Jackson has some drugs at his house. Now, the point that Chris Moltz makes is there are people that have murdered cops that get out of prison, right? In much less, they'll get out of prison after 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, a life sentence used to be 30 years. Chris Moltz has served 21 years. Even if you gave Chris Moltz a 30-year sentence, he would have some hope, right? He would have something to look forward to. But he doesn't have anything to look forward to. He's going to die in prison. He's been a model prisoner. He doesn't have anything to lose, right? It's not like he's got to be a model prisoner. But he just is not. He's a good man, and I don't believe he should serve the rest of his life in prison. I believe he should have a chance at parole. He wasn't even present at the murder, and he didn't know there was going to be a murder, and he didn't tell anybody to murder anybody. So he did ask for some books, and we ordered him a copy of Ruby Ridge. I don't know if he got that one. But I sent him some other books, and he mentions those books. I hope you also mail him some books. Here's what his short email said. Hello, Rudy and Aaron. How have y'all been? I haven't heard from you in a while, and I'm sorry I haven't wrote myself. I'm just keeping busy working all day. I received some more books! ! Thank you. Please thank everyone who has sent them. I got Into the Wild. My wife and I sent that. One Day in the Life of Ivan Desinovich. I believe that's written by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I ordered that. Pilgrim's Progress. I believe I ordered that. The Heavenly Man. We ordered that. And Beyond the Rays of Hope. That's by David Kurt McLean. So I'm good for a month or two on books. I'm just saying hello and wishing you and your family a great holiday weekend. Tell everyone I'm good and send my love. Until next time, your friend, Chris Moltz. So I pray that you go to chrismoltz.com, scroll up to the top, you'll see his address. I pray you write him a letter. I hope it's an encouraging letter. Tell him you love him and care about him, and you're praying for him. If you get the time and you want to go on Amazon or some sort of book publishing company and you have your favorite encouraging, inspiring book, it might be good to send him a book or two. The man's going to spend the rest of his life in prison unless God works a miracle, which I pray for. Thank you for your time.